final slate of the regular season. And who better to break it all down for us than the captain of the ship, Mike Holland. He joins me in studio like only he can to help us get this bread. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
Once again, for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. We are powered by the galaxy's greatest website, DrRoto.com. I'm your sometimes humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich, and I happen to be the conductor of this whole thing, the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. I'll follow you back. But I mentioned him in the open, and we shall wait no longer. El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship at MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do?
Yo, man, I cannot believe it's March 7th, baby. So we're about to get really, really busy. You did a great job last night. I'm covering, we're going to be doing everything. We're doing bets, PrizePicks, DFS, just the sport itself, brackets. I mean, it's not going to stop. So you did an awesome job. You guys didn't check out that show, run it back. That information is still relevant today, unlike these DFS shows where it's basically relevant up until lock and then it's over. So check out that show if you haven't. And man, I'm excited because we got some big prize pools out there. We got $60 king of the bracket out there, Jay, and of course, we got that one invitational out there that people can join for $5 today, man. Why don't you tell them all about it?
$5, Buster. All it takes to get into the One and Done Invitational, also known as the MC Holland 34 Invitational. This is what I'm going to do. It's always the One and Done Invitational, but I'm going to call it the MC Holland 34 Classic. We're going to have two names for it right there. That's what we'll call it. And right there, that link right below me, which happened to be dropped in the live chat as well by our fine producer, Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav on Twitter, at Mr. Eric Romoff. Check out the live chat right there. Oh, and it's already on fire. Forklift Jeremy, popping in there. Forklift Jeremy has won himself a One and Done Invitational this year. Belly Ball, has Belly Ball won one? I know Belly Ball was up there in the top 5.
Yeah, I think he cashed the last one.
Cashed the other day for sure. What's up, Belly Ball? There's Eric in the chat right there with the bread. There, I mean, come on. Here we go. Oh, there he is, Darren, who we appreciate always hanging out with us on social media as well. He's not playing Mr. Nice Guy anymore. He's coming for that bread, especially since it's $5 to get into the One and Done Invitational this time. Thought we'd bump it up, right, Mike, for the last one here of the regular season.
Why not? A couple extra bucks,
build up that prize pool a little bit. Why not?
Especially since Darren's starting his villain arc, so.
Yeah, villain origin story right here with Darren right there in the live chat. Join him in the live chat. The only way you can do that is by hitting that subscribe button. Subscribers only mode is what we're doing, and we would love to see you push all of those buttons, just like Belly Ball has, 2nd and 5th. All right. Well, still, that's nice, man. That's two cashes in the 5 that we've done. So congratulations to you for that. Congratulations to everybody that's won on those, and congratulations to me since I'm going to win the one tomorrow or Saturday if you're watching with your morning coffee or your Fruit Loops or whatever it is. But yeah, man, interesting slate here. You were talking to me in the pre-show about how basically you can do what you want, man. Like, pick your poison here. And there's a nice big tournament to do that in, a 5K to first, I should say, $15 pull-up jumper. And then, like you said, Mike, that $60 king of the bracket, number 54 there. So all in all, again, I hope I didn't spoil your overview here by saying that it's basically do what you want, but you do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, the overview is going to be pretty quick tonight because you got studs galore, you got value galore, you can do whatever you want. There's 2 massive totals, the Kentucky-Missouri games at 170 implied. That's to start the slate. I think it's one of the 4 games that locks at noon Eastern, and then we end this thing with 176 total with Alabama and Auburn. So. And in between, it's like there are some decent totals that go in between this. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun slate, man, for sure. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. A nice little Saturday slate here to wrap up this what has been a really, really fun season. And that's thanks to everybody in the One and Done universe that hangs out with us and pushes all those buttons. We appreciate y'all for doing that. We appreciate you for hanging out with us here. If you're watching live, it's on a Friday, and you might be watching on a Saturday morning with your coffee. That's cool. Tell all the breadheads, all the hoop heads in your life, I should say, to be a breadhead. You're on One and Done and push those buttons. All right, 9-game slate, lock in. First game's lock in at noon on the East Coast here. Let's start off 151-point implied total here. Not too shabby with Vanderbilt and Georgia. Mike, an old SEC scrap here. Vanderbilt's 5-point road dogs. Think they could get it done. I'm not sure. Both of these teams are playing okay, right? I mean, it's the SEC, man. Like I talked about it on the show last night, on the Thursday show, I should say. Like it's night in and night out. This is a tough conference for sure, and there's no overrating this conference. Vanderbilt has been tough at home more recently than not so on the road here with 73 implied points. The problem is Georgia's 26th in defensive efficiency going into this one. The good thing is for the old Commodores is Georgia gets their pockets picked an absolute ton, like a boatload, over 12% of their possessions in conference play. So steals boost there.
Yep.
But of course they play everyone and spread the minutes out. So what do we do with these guys, Mike?
These guys are so annoying. Although, I mean, if you want to play like a McLaughlin or a Magnon, like okay, but the best play in this one, at least from the Vanderbilt side, and if his minutes kind of stay where they're at, is AJ Hoggard. He's 5,100, and sound that alarm there, Jay. Last two games, 34 minutes and 37 minutes. That was an overtime game, so we'll chalk it up as 32 minutes. But still, typically, this is a guy that would get mid-20s to high 20s, and that's kind of how it was with their key players. It was like, could we ever get a McLaughlin, Hoggard? Can we get these guys consistently at 30 to 32? Because it makes a huge difference, especially when you get these pace-up matchups, man. Every minute and possession is just super important. So, man, he's live here for 30-plus fantasy points. I think he's going to be super popular as people are going to see this trend and be like, okay, why don't I click Hoggard in this first matchup here, 150 total. Mm-hmm. I would say tourney only just because Vanderbilt and these rotations. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he played 26 minutes and we're like, well, what happened? So Byington's always kind of been that coach where he's just going to spread the minutes out to everybody. Now, last year with Terrence Edwards, he got Terrence Edwards kind of in that low 30s role. So we'll see if he's kind of doing that with Hoggard now.
So let me ask you this, Mike. If Hoggard at 5,100 here, let's say he does only play 26 minutes, but if you could get 25 fantasy points out of that, is that going to be enough on a slate like this?
Oh, yeah.
Are we having to shoot for guys that are like 6X, like with those sort of ceilings here?
Yeah, man. I mean, 5X is going to be good, but there's a lot of guys that you can play under 5K that are going to be interesting plays for 5+X. So, yeah, I think Hoggard, I mean, you just want him to be on the floor for 30 minutes. I think the rest will kind of take care of itself. For that reason, I think he's more – I would assume he's more of a cash type target just with this floor being so high at 26 minutes. But you can definitely pop off for 5+X in a tournament for sure. So we've seen that already last two slates. I mean, he's been well over 30 fantasy points. So play him in all formats. Just don't be surprised if it goes full Vanderbilt Hill. And the only other guy I'm probably going to look at is Jalen Carey at 5,100 just because we know he has that rebounding upside. He's a guy that can score the ball. He can block a shot or two, so he's sitting there at 5,100. Yeah, I mean, could you play Magnon or Collins or any of these other guys? You could. Carey's definitely like that boom-bust GPP option for sure. So, this Vanderbilt side is always annoying to target, but I think Hoggard is going to be super safe with upside.
On the other side here with Georgia, the matchup looks a lot better, at least on paper, and that's mostly because Vandy plays defense
like me and you
like
right
a
now.
matador. Ole! Worst defense in the conference. 116 points given up per 100 possessions in conference play. If you don't like numbers, it's not good. It's bad.
Not good.
Okay. All right. They're also giving it up at a high clip from behind the arc, and they get their shot blocked a ton. So, I mean, Georgia with some opportunities here to get some counting stats, an opportunity here to hit some threes. which can help some of these guys get to 5x, 6x, especially some
yeah.
of the lower price guys.
Yep.
So how are we feeling about Georgia? Let's start in the backcourt here with Demary, 8,100. Man, the upside, I don't know. It's a tough price tag for the upside, but if there was a matchup that he was going to get there for us, I feel like this is it. He scored 16 real life points in 7 straight, 16 or more, I should say, real life points in 7 straight right there. Solid assist upside and steals to go along with that. There's some more counting stats like I was talking about earlier. I think in smaller tourneys, cash games like I like to sort of float around in, I think he's one of the first names that you look at, Mike.
Yeah, you have to like the Georgia side, nearly an 80 implied team total. He's kind of been living in that low 30s range. Could he pop for a 40? Absolutely. He's taking a ton of shots. I would just much rather in tournaments take like large field tournaments, take shots on like Newell at 7,700. I think he's got an awesome matchup here. Elite shot blocking rate, double upside. His price is down $500. He's going to play 34 to 35 minutes. Like both of these teams, Vanderbilt probably feels a little bit safer. Georgia should be in, but you just never know, right? So both of these teams are going to want to get this win. It's going to be basically they can cross them off, right? Like they are safe from the bubble here if they win. So Newell, an awesome play. And I think these two cheap guys are going to get some ownership in the large field. You got Tyron Lawrence and Dakota LaFew. So Lawrence here, Jay, sitting at 3,500. The old revenge narrative, right? Played for Vanderbilt. Look, 20, 14 fantasy points at 3,500 in the last 3 games. He's playing 25 to 27 minutes after coming back from injury. So he should be a popular punt play. And then for $100 cheaper, you got LaFew here. And I'd imagine he's going to be much less popular. Lawrence in general has like a higher assist rate where LaFew is more of a, like he's got to score the basketball, right? Very, very shot dependent. But he's a guy that if he's shooting the ball well, he'll get up to 28 minutes or so. So he'll definitely be a leverage punt off of what'll probably be a chalkier Lawrence. So right now for tournaments, man, like I don't mind if you play like a Hoggard with a Newell and a Lawrence, and then if you want to get different, maybe playing a LaFew with Newell. So yeah, a lot of nice pieces, a lot of nice prices in this game. So you definitely don't mind that.
Oh, you don't mind it at all. I also don't mind it when you sound the double alarm, according to Darren there, and I'm also going to sound the alarm here on a new way to approach your March. And that's with our friends at BracketBids. How many days until selection? So 9 days, 8 days away until selection Sunday.
Right around the corner.
Just over a week. It is right around the corner, Mike. And we're all going to fill out brackets. We're all going to do our thing. But what we're going to do new this year, me, you, everybody that's watching, we're going to get over to BracketBids, BracketBids.com and the BracketBids app. New approach to March. You're going to get all those same people together that you were going to do the bracket pool with anyway. The people that you don't really like, the coworkers, it doesn't matter. Bring them in anyway and get them over to BracketBids.
Get their money.
Yeah, get their money, right? But what they're doing over there, they're just changing the game by bringing the fantasy sports aspect to the greatest tournament in the world. The fantasy sports aspect is that this is not just a regular bracket. You can do pick'em stuff, but what we're talking about, this is not just a regular bracket. You're bidding for the teams that you want to represent you in March. So, if I think Auburn is just a lock to win, I may spend half of my budget on Auburn just I know I got the champ right there, right? Or I may, try to snipe some 15 seed that is going against, I don't know, or some 13 seed that I know is going to be up against Michigan or something like that, because I think, okay, I'm going to make sure I get that low seed because that can help me win my league. So set up your league for free and get the link that you can send out to all those people that you kind of like, maybe don't like, and you're whoever it is. Send out those invites, and then when it's time to activate it, use the promo code BREAD, BREAD, for 40% off of your league activation fees. Download the BracketBids app today or go to BracketBids.com and level up this March with our friends at BracketBids. Love it. Love it a lot, Mike. And you know what else I love?
Do it.
170-point implied total, according to Ken Palm's metrics anyway. And that is, we got a double thumbs up from Mike this early in the show. Let's go. That's worth sounding the alarm for right there. Double thumbs up. 170-point total here implied for Kentucky at Missouri. Two teams that didn't get a lot of run, even though I talked a lot of SEC yesterday, and that might have been a little disrespectful. Who knows, though? Who knows? Kentucky, though, Mike, on this side, 83 implied points in this total. Kentucky is 4-point underdogs on the road, according to KenPom's metrics, Mike. If you were a betting man, Mike, and I know you are, what sort of line are you taking here in this matchup before we get into this DFS stuff? Is this the one that you would even touch in this matchup?
I would take Kentucky straight up money line here at Missouri. I like the way this matches up, and probably the first guy that you're going to mention here is going to be a huge reason why. I don't know how they're going to stop this guy, but he'll probably foul out in 5 minutes.
Well, don't put it out there, man. You know I'm going to bring it up anyway because you know I'm going to take Amari Williams here. And at 8K flat, no need to worry. Mike Cowton handles that. Only played 19 minutes, though, but the other night. But it's because they beat the brakes off of LSU by like 11 gazillion, and his price fell. Thank you. Yep. Please, sir, may I have some more of less?
Thank you.
$500 haircut here. And you know he's live for 40, 45 plus fantasy points in this spot at max minutes. But since Mike put it out there about him being into foul trouble, better not happen, man. This is a tight game.
He's going to be popular.
He's going to be super chalky.
So chalky.
But listen, again, if we're getting different in a big tournament, you know, we're trying to chase some commas here. 8K Amari Williams. What do you think is going to come in on that, Mike?
Oh, gosh, man. I mean, I would think in the big one, he's probably going to be 35 to 40%. Like, this is just, I mean, if you project him out for 31 minutes, like, I mean, he's going for nearly 50. So, I mean, there's definitely merit to fading him in Marchfield, man. Definitely merit. So,
who else on this Kentucky side, Mike?
Do I have to? I mean, yeah, the price tags are okay. Like Brea is 6,900, but we talked about this last time, and I don't think he did anything last game against. Well, they didn't have to, right? Crazy as Darren's saying. So, I just don't play him when he's these type of players where they're so shot dependent at 7K. Lamont Butler is very, very interesting. I'm not playing OA on this slate. Could he have a big one and go for 40 plus? I think he could, but I just much rather use Amari Williams and then looking at Lamont Butler at 6,400. I was hoping we'd get him for like 5.8, 6 flat, just because, you know, last couple of games, you know, came back from the Auburn game, right? And then LSU, they didn't really need him that much. So, but yes, we get the $6,400 price tag again. So you definitely have to think about it. I don't know that we've really seen his upside. I don't know if there's that much upside with his bum shoulder. So it's kind of annoying, but I think he's a very good large field tournament play. And then you always have to look at the other bigs for Kentucky, especially since Missouri can't really stop anybody inside. Carr and Garrison. Now Garrison went crazy because of the blowout, so he got a lot more run, right? They weren't trying to wear out Williams. I think Carr is safer than Garrison. At 4,900, because if Carr gets his max minutes, you're looking at closer to like 26 to 28, and he can definitely pay off 4,900. He's got 3-point upside, rebounding upside. Garrison obviously has that shot blocking ability, and if Amari Williams happens to get in foul trouble, if you play the game theory that Amari Williams gets into foul trouble, you might as well just play either Carr or Garrison because they're both going to be on the floor. So I think it's kind of interesting to play both of them. Just pray that Williams gets into foul trouble because they're going to have to soak up a ton of the minutes. If Williams only is out there for 24, 22 minutes because of foul trouble, these two guys are going to see a lot of run. I don't think you want to play both together, even in the large field. It's possible, but playing one, where you're not playing Williams, I think it's kind of interesting. Although this slate is full of guys under 5K that you can play that have big upside. So I don't know that we need to get there, but it's just an interesting option to get into a total of 170, Jay, with a tight spread.
I think I'll play Carr in any format. I'll run him out there in cash, and he's going to save me some salary in tournaments too. Yeah, I don't know, man. If like Belly Ball saying you were saying Pope said that 31 was too much for Amari and can't do it again. I think he can, and he will if it calls for it.
Yeah. He only played 19 because of the 30-point blowout, but I don't know if
this is a tight game. I don't see
maybe
why he wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't play 30-31.
If he's not in foul trouble. Again, like you so eloquently put it out there into the universe before I even got a chance to talk about him. Thank you very much. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, thanks a lot, Eric. Thanks for your support there. How about Missouri here? Again, favored at home, at least according to Ken Palm. If you're watching for the first time and these lines don't look like it does at your book, these are Ken Palm's metrics that we use on this show, on our graphics, and how we refer to these point spreads and projected points. So that's why this looks like the way that it does. Missouri is implied for 87 in this total at home. 170 points, man. Like, we have to get into this game. We have to be this. Everybody is, though. Again, how are we getting different? Is it different within these games that everybody's going to already be in? Or can we find value otherwhere, in other games, I should say? But Missouri here, Kentucky's not exactly stopping anybody either. There's another team that's not really putting much of an effort, especially from two. And it's hard to pin anybody down, though, for the Tigers, because I think you see everyone is out there. You see all the everybody from the family reunion. You see, got Unk gets a few minutes too. The cousin that you don't see every 4 years, he gets 3 minutes. Yeah, you just play everybody, dude. I mean, 13 guys checked in last game. It's not like it was a blowout. It was a 12-point game.
Yeah.
How do you figure this out?
Terrifying. Like, they're going to score nearly 90 points, and it's all terrifying. So Caleb Grill sitting there at 8,400, like, he has this, like, one of the safer roles on the team, but he's not safe by any means for DFS. He's either going for like 45 in this one, or he's going for like 23. Like, there's not really an in-between for this guy. He's basically max price. This is a good matchup, obviously. But he better hit at least 3 or 4 3-pointers here to have any type of shot here. I don't like playing guys like that, but you want to run back, man, at 87. But the thing is, like you said, they're just play a bunch of guys like Anthony Robinson's kind of interesting. Pierce is interesting. Tamar Bates is probably going to be the guy in the large field that I'll get to at 4,600. He could play 16 minutes. He could play 24 minutes. He could play 32 minutes. Like, I don't know, because you just don't know with these guys. But this is like the cheapest that he's been all season. Massive price drop, 4,600. Legit 5x plus upside. I don't know, Jay. Like, if he plays 18 minutes, we're probably dead in the water at 4,600. If he plays 32 minutes, we probably feel pretty good about Tamar Bates, man. But yeah, this is can you pick the right Missouri guy that gets there?
Well, this is like one of the ultimate spin the wheel type of things, right? Because you want to be a part of this game. You want to get as many shares of this game as you can, but how do you do it when Missouri plays everybody? The water boy. Like, it's hard to nail it down for sure. And yes, Darren, just to be clear, it is friend of the show, Mark Pope. That is correct. Go back to our coaches' interviews from way back a couple of years ago when he was still at BYU. And it's not a surprise that he got the one and done rub. You come on one and done, you go from BYU. Nice job, right? Well, now you're at Kentucky. I mean, David Riley. We interviewed David Riley. Where he was at Eastern Washington.
Yeah, Eastern Washington.
Right? Oh, where's he at? Oh, Washington State.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on our show. Good things happen. Why not? Friend of the show. That's right.
What about
Thanks for bringing that up.
From Drake to West Virginia?
Right? He was one of our first ones, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's like our second interview.
Boy, that was a struggle. We've come a long way. We've come a long way, my friend.
He's probably like, well, who the hell are these guys? And why am I talking to them?
I guarantee you that's what he was thinking. Those are out there in the universe. Go watch them if you want. I don't care. I don't. Do it. But hit like and subscribe before you do that, okay? Push all the buttons, like, subscribe, notification bell, so you don't miss anything that we're doing. Not one single solitary minute of our college basketball coverage all the way through March. Career defining. That's right. Randy Bennett, interviewed Randy Bennett. Oh, what is he? Oh, Conference Coach of the Year awards since then. I mean,
No problem.
It is what it is, Come on our show. Good things happen. All right. Moving on now. Push like and subscribe. at One and Done CBB on all the socials. St. John's and Marquette here. How it kind of takes the steam out of it going from a 170-point implied total to a 141 point.
Two teams that like to play defense.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess we can have a little defense here. But St. John's is fun to watch, and they're playing their asses off right now. St. John's won the first time these two teams played. The Johnnies were at home, and they won by 6, 70-64. Richmond just went off for St. John's. It's just like not even. Is he gonna, you're going to get to Richmond, I know. It's pencil me in for 18, 11, and 8. Can I do that? Can you just write it in for me? No, it doesn't work that way.
That'd be nice.
How about Edgefor 13 and 13? Can you just scribble that in for me? No, you can't do it.
Nice.
Okay, all right, maybe not. All right, for St. John's, Smith is out. Marquette plays tough defense. They don't stop bigs really, but that doesn't help our guy Richmond out at all. So the only other part about this, Mike, they've already wrapped up the Big East. How aggressive will they be? Is it one of those things where can we spend $9,800 for Richmond?
Oof.
You know the upside is there, and you know he can pay this price tag off.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's how are you approaching this side?
Yeah, it's still nerve-wracking, man. Like they don't really for seeding, right? So I think that we're good here. I think a win here, right? Would be huge over a solid Marquette team. Definitely going to help for seeding. We'll see how. I mean, Davon Smith is obviously ruled out, so not taking any chances with that. The thing about these St. John's guys, they're max price. So Richmond, Lewis, and Ejiofor, and you need them to play max minutes to pay off their price tags. I mean, damn near 5 figures for Takari Richmond. I mean, triple-double upside, obviously. But on the road, max price, that's a tough pill to swallow. But he has 5x upside. So, yeah, definitely interested in Richmond here. I think Luis is kind of a cool pivot. I don't think nobody's going to play him on this slate. He's 9,200. Always a nice turning option. Always flashes, 40 fantasy point upside. His rates are solid across the board. Close game. He's going to play big minutes if they're in it to win it. He's going to play big minutes, take a bunch of shots. You got Ejiofor. Every time we talk about Marquette, whoever the opposing big is, it's like, I want action. And he already went 13 and 13 against him. So I think there's still upside for shot blocking there with him, as well as even more points and rebounds upside with this guy at 8,800. So, yeah, you really like now it's the big three with Smith out. And with Smith being out, you have to look at Simeon Wiltshire at 3,400. Like he's always in play whenever one of these guys are out because he's the one that slides into the starting lineup. Could he get to 30 minutes? Yeah, I think it's in the real possibilities here. We'll see how aggressive they are in this game. Maybe they hold some guys back a couple of extra minutes, but I think they do want to, try and get their seating as high as possible. So Wiltshire is another one of these guys in the 3K range, but he has a little more path, right? Because we have Smith out. The Georgia guys are going to be fighting Blue Kane and Silas DeMary to be on the floor. So
yeah, very
shot dependent for Wiltshire though, man. Yeah, dude. Like these guys aren't going to be owned because there's just so many better spots, so many better. Like you got Broome, we haven't even talked about. You got the Alabama side. You've got the game we talked about earlier with Amari Williams. Like so, yeah. Why not take a shot on one of these guys? I don't think I'm going to get too involved on either side though.
Richmond's only paid off a 10K price tag 3 times this year, and in this sort of a situation, who knows? But it's not like it's not in the bag. We've seen it. It could definitely happen for sure. On the other side, Marquette here, another team. We talked about, Marquette plays a little bit of defense, right? That's the staple of their head coach, as you know, and we are very familiar with around these parts. But St. John's plays a little bit of defense as well, even tougher. Second efficiency in the country. So not great for Marquette from that perspective, except if your name is Cam Jones. Who? Cam Jones. Another solid stud option here at 9,400. At home, pace up against a team like we sort of hinted at earlier. Doesn't have a lot to play for except seeding here. So, do we need to worry about Richmond's defense?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe so. But because of that, I guess maybe one of these other guys might be a better option, Mike. What do you think?
But yeah, I mean, you kind of look at it, right? And the last game they played, it was Chase Ross had to do everything. I mean, Cam Jones had 16, but it wasn't. I mean, he didn't have that many fantasy points against them because they weren't just going to. With Marquette, you just don't let Cam Jones beat you, and you'll be okay. And there's no Tyler Kolek, right? Ross has done his thing every now and then. This is a nice price tag for him as Stevie Mitchell in a pace up. Yeah, it is against the number 2 defensive efficiency, right? He's definitely a boom bust, large field option. I mean, he hasn't had 30 fantasy points today since the last time we played against him. So they're going to allow Ross to kind of do what he wants, and they're just going to take away Cam Jones. I think Stevie Mitchell is kind of an interesting tournament play. I always render him like as a cash option, but he's going to play 30, 32, 35 minutes here, and he produces across the board. It doesn't take a ton of shots, which you don't love, but the price tag is normally like 6,000 to 6,500. He's now at 5,500. So you definitely don't mind that for sure. Yeah, I don't know that I want to get too involved, man, because like this could literally be a game where, I mean, they just went, what was it, 70 to 64? Like, I would not be surprised if this was a 66 to 63 game. And then you're like, oh, wait, all these guys are super expensive. Darren's in the chat saying Wiltshire max at 25. Yeah, but if he gets 18 fantasy points, he's golden at 3,400. You know what I mean? 20 fantasy points, he's staring at nearly 6x. So, yeah, we have a lot of options, Jay. Just so many ways to build on this slate here.
Yeah, Ton, you opened with that. I opened with that. We all opened with that. We knew you could do whatever you wanted to do on this slate. So, again, be picky. Be picky. Do the things that you want to do. Have a little bit of fun on this slate. And if you're doing a little cashy game, why not some cash game Cam? Eric reminds us we love Cam Jones in the cash game. I mean, even at this price.
Tough matchup, though. Be careful.
It is tough. It is tough. Always love Cam, though. Always love Cam. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. 1,386 of you have hit that subscribe button so far. Why don't we get to 1,388 by the end of the night? All you got to do, hit that button, and that gives you access to the chat, the live chat, subscribers only mode, ladies and gents, broskies and broskets. So hit that subscribe button so you can chat with our guy Eric, who is apparently rapping in the live chat here. Stacks on deck, Patron on ice. We could pop bottles all night, baby. You could play whatever you like on this slate. All right, that's enough of that. Why do you do that to me, Eric? You know I'm going to do it. You know I cannot help myself.
The old
This
prompt.
is your fault. This is your fault. It's okay. You know I'm not even mad about it. 1,386. Let's hit a couple more. Hit those buttons. As we hit Mississippi State and Pig Suey, Arkansas. A little bit better total here, not by much. 145 points. We got 144 on the slide.
I think it moved like right before we went on. So the old KP metrics.
Of course. A little bit of bump. Same area, same zip code. We're all good there. Mississippi State implied for 71 of those points. Both of these teams, well, season possessions, Mike. 114th in tempo for Mississippi State, 70th for Arkansas. So a pace up for the Bulldogs here, and Arkansas is up to 15th in the country in defense. And I was looking through those metrics yesterday, doing some prep for the Thursday show. And I don't know. I don't want to say it surprised me, but when I'm going through and looking at SEC, okay, there's a couple. Okay, we're going down a little bit. And then I see 15 and it's Arkansas. Like,
crazy, right?
Kind of snuck up on me there. But anyways, let's talk about Mississippi State first here, and let's talk about Josh Hubbard. How about that? 8,900 here. What's the deal with all these max price people on this slate? Everybody in St. John's max price.
Yeah.
NIT
max
champion.
price season.
Darren's gonna ride that Texas in the NIT gimmick all the way to the end, isn't he? I'm not mad at it. Very disappointing against the Horns earlier this week. I don't like this matchup either, man. Like, I don't like the road environment. You know you can go for 40 fantasy points, but maybe if you're trying to get different, I'm not probably going to spend up for Hubbard on this slate.
Well, it's tough to spend up for him when all the other guys are. And this is the worst game for this slate. These two teams in general have guys that can literally win you $5,000, or they have guys that will literally end your lineup. Hubbard's like that as a spend up. Murphy and Matthews are like that in the mid tier, and then Melendez and Kugel down at the bottom. They're all like, this entire team is filled, and the other side too. So Murphy finally back to a price where I use them in tournaments. Arkansas obviously has some tough bigs in there. You got 80 coming off the bench, Visage and Brazil there, but his rates are nice. GPP only because he doesn't play more than like 27 minutes. That UT game went into overtime, so it got 30 minutes. But I don't mind clicking his name when he's under 7K. So Keyshawn Murphy, I don't know that I'll get there, but he's interesting for large field tournaments. Cam Matthews, 38. He played 38 minutes against Texas, and he just still really didn't get there. Took 11 shots, which is the first time that he had double-digit field goal attempts since January 14th. He has to get there by rebounding, stocks, and it has to be like 10-plus boards and 4-plus stocks, typically for him to really pay out. Now, every now and then, Murphy and Matthews, they'll go for these big numbers, like they're 38 or a 40. So, yeah, they're in the tournament player pool. Melendez, boom bust option. Can go for 30. I mean, 5x plus here. Typically shot dependent. I mean, he torched the horns. Just beware of chasing this. He'll go, 10 fantasy points, 30 fantasy points, 12 fantasy points, 32 fantasy points. You don't know, because the reason why is because you don't know if it's going to be him or Kugel that's going to go with Hubbard with the scoring. Why is Riley Kugel at 4,300? I think it's because DraftKings is like, you know what, Mike? You've been playing too many lineups recently. You need to scale it back some. He has 25 to 30 fantasy point upside at 4,300. They are on the road, right? So a little bit of a knock on these guys. I feel like one of these guys is going to have a good game, especially one of the two at the bottom here, Kugel or Melendez. Especially if it's a close game, these guys are going to play mid-30s minutes if they've got it going. So minutes are volatile with Kugel. You just don't know. It could be 25, could be 17, could be 35, could be 30. You don't know, Jay. And the Arkansas side, honestly, it's not that much better. So 71 implied total for Mississippi State. You don't want to go crazy here, but one of them's going to have a good game. Good luck.
Yeah, you can see right there on the screen in the last handful of games, he's gone 5.5x on this price, and he's gone 6x on this price. So it's it's so annoying, man. It's a trap, like Eric said in the chat. I don't know, dude. It's tough to. Why is he that price?
It's literally a trap.
I'll probably fall for it.
So
I'll fall for it. Why not?
It's the worst when you play guys like that too, because you're like, here we go, the game started.
Yeah.
Can be the most enjoyable ride or the worst. This Arkansas side is not much different.
It's usually the worst. Arkansas 74 implied points. Gonna get a 3-ball boost here. That's what I can say about that. That's all I have to say about that. Tiero's out. Oh man, that's right. 7K flat he would have been, but nope, not anymore. How about our guy Big Z, Zvonimir Ivasic, 7,500. Man, Mike, does this whole entire game you just talked about the Kugel experience, how we can either make your day or end your life. Is that what you said earlier? Something like that. End your night? I don't know, whatever it was.
Both.
But this whole game feels like that dream or nightmare type scenario, right? Ivasic's price, almost 9K a few weeks ago. We talked about playing him at nearly 9K a few weeks ago. 7,500 now. We love the rates. Unfortunately, they're not going to play him 30 minutes.
They just won't.
They're not. They just won't. But when it all comes together, this is one of those guys where you look at it, Mike, and you don't like to throw around the phrase, the moniker slate breaker. I don't like to do that. But this is the kind of guy,
100%,
when it all comes together, that he can do it. So just for that reason alone, you got to sprinkle him in, I think, to some of your large field stuff.
Yeah, man. Dude, that dude has 40+ fantasy point upside when it all comes together. It's at home. This could be an ugly game, but these guys had 5x plus upside. John L. Davis probably doesn't. I think you render him more cash. Like, he's not like this fast-paced FAU version, right? It's kind of like I need to take a bunch of shots, right, because I have to for this team to be successful. 30-plus fantasy points in the realm possibilities for him. Got to make his shots. Darren in the chat saying Brazil or Adu, and a lot of people are going to go to these guys, and for good reason. I mean, Brazil's 5,200, and maybe a trap. Like, he just smashed Vanderbilt for 46 fantasy points. Like, he should play 30-plus minutes if no foul trouble. He does foul. He's not dirt cheap anymore, which makes it harder when he has these, like, we got to get off of this game, dude. Like, this game is just so ugly. Adu at 4,400, he's not 3.7 Adu. He has big upside. He could also play 12 minutes or 15 minutes. He could still get there in that price, or he could just not do anything. So, yeah, man, I'm nervous about getting too involved in this. But, man, all these guys that we just talked about could legit go for 5X.
Brazil's last three, right? 46.5 against Vandy, like you mentioned. The game before that, 26 minutes, only gave you 10 fantasy points. And before that, again, who doesn't get off?
Brazil put up 46 fantasy points against Vanderbilt. What do you think Austin Newell's going to do to Vanderbilt? Like,
who's your favorite play out of that one, out of that game?
Large field, it's a Visage, honestly, and Kugel. Like, Brazil makes the most sense. RJ Melendez makes no sense every time he's on the slate, but that's a whole other story. But anyways, let's move on to the next game.
Yeah, we did spend a lot of time on that one, and it's going to be tough to get too involved in it. But Penn State and Wisconsin will be a little bit easier. So hit that subscribe button so you can hit in the live chat and tell us what you think about Mississippi State at Arkansas or Penn State at Wisconsin, which we're about to hit here. Penn State, I didn't realize – I don't know why I saw this earlier. Penn State is 55th in tempo. That's another thing that you see that stat for me, and I didn't expect to see it, right? It was just one of those things that they get up and down a little bit, Mike, more than just in my mind I had them doing. It's going to be tough, though, no matter how many possessions that they get. Wisconsin's top 30 in defensive efficiency. They're not going to turn you over a bucket of shots, so you're going to get your shots up. If you're hitting your shots, then great, but good luck because they're going to make you earn every single one of them. So we've been talking a lot about like heavy rotations playing 11, 12, 13 guys. This is a little bit of good news from this perspective. If we could get a repeat of this, that'd be great. Last game, Penn State had all 5 starters play 33-plus minutes, Mike.
I would give that 2 thumbs up if it wasn't Penn State and implied for 71 points and max price Ace Baldwin at 9,600. This is kind of a gross game for him. I'm not getting to him, man. Like the only guy and Darren says out on YKN. I don't play Hicks ever. YKN, I'm not touching him in this spot. I don't really play him. Freddie DeLeon, like a decent floor cash play. He's been very aggressive offensively. He's just taking a bunch of shots. They need him for next year. Like, he doesn't have like that elite upside unless he's like really hot from the floor. But I think if you're looking for something, this is probably the wrong slate if you're trying to play something safe, honestly. You play something safe, he gets 19. Well, somebody from some other game that we've already talked about is going for 30 at 4K. So you might want to play this guy in like small stuff. I wouldn't mess around with them in anything other than that, man. Honestly, this Wisconsin side we need to talk about because they're implied for a big number here.
84, as a matter of fact, on this Wisconsin side. And Penn State isn't exactly stunning anybody with their defensive prowess here, giving up 38% from 3, 54% from 2 in the conference. So there's a reason that this Wisconsin in a pace up here is projected to score 84 points. Going to get an assist and a stock boost as well. Klesmet with the Q tag here, Mike. Missed the last couple of games. After I talk about Tanji, I'm going to ask you sort of how that plays into this, into your mind. But with Tanji, it's kind of hard to not like him here. It's not the biggest of spend ups, but as somebody like if you pay up for one of these other guys and then you want a second in that high tier, It's going to be easy to get to Tanji on this slate, and I like it. 40-plus fantasy point upside in the big team total. Just a solid play, I think, Mike. I mean, I know he hasn't been great. That's okay for me. That's sort of 8,200 I can deal. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be paying 88, 89, whatever. I don't want – is this max price? What does max price Tanji look like? You know what I mean? Like, how do you –
I think it was like 98 at one point.
Right. So I'm definitely not paying that. So 8,200, like, I can deal with that. A solid play for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. When he's down here in the like high 7, low 8s, he's a lot better suited to play. Even though he was scorched earth there a couple of weeks ago, he hasn't done much because it's been John Blackwell, and I think Darren's talking about that in the chat. Man, he's the last 2 out of 3 games, it's been the Blackwell show, 43.25 and 46.5 in 2 of the last 3. Now that's been aided by 10+ rebounds. Like that's not typically. Now Blackwell's a good rebounder. Grabbing 10+ boards, not really there. That's not really sustainable for him. But if it was a close game, 37 to 38 minutes, I think they blow the doors off of these guys. That's what's scary about playing a Blackwell or Tanji here. It's a great game environment, great team total here. He's a little more volatile than Tanji just because he doesn't produce anything defensively. And you asked the question a second ago about Klesmit. In the last few slates, I've probably lost half my bankroll on McGee chalk. He's 4K. So this is kind of the spot to go back to McGee if you've been burned the last 2 slates. It's not because I'm pot committed or anything, but if Klesmit's out again, McGee's definitely a nice play. 32+ minutes here is the cheapest price tag we've had on him in the last 3 slates where he's been starting. He's live for 5x. He's another guy, Jay. He's live for 5x plus here. It would not shock me if he went for like 23 to 25 in this particular matchup. So, yeah, these guards for sure. If you want to spin the wheel on Winter, Crawl, like, go ahead. I just much rather attack some of these guards here.
If Klesmit's out, how popular do you think McGee is?
Not very popular because everyone's been torched. I think he was 50% on the last slate. 8 fantasy points. He was 40%, I think, the slate forward, 12 fantasy points. Guess what? They're both on the road. At Michigan State, at Minnesota, I knew better. 2 terrible spots to play somebody like this who's entering a starting lineup with a Tanji and Blackwell who are so aggressive offensively. Why wouldn't we wait till he comes home at the lowest price we're going to get him in a starting role for 32 minutes and an 84 team total against a defense that doesn't stop anybody, that gives up stocks, assists? Like, that's my bad.
We're there
That's
now.
my fault. That's my fault.
But we're there now.
It's hard not to play starter for 32 minutes, though, Jay. Like, it doesn't matter where they're at. So, makes more sense here, though.
It makes a lot of sense. And he's somebody that, if Klesmit's out, I think you got to definitely click that name.
Yeah, but either one. I mean, it's a good spot, man. Look at that total.
Yeah, it is a good spot. Klesmit doesn't sound like it's a long-term thing for him. But if he's out, I'm in. I have no issue saying that at all. All right, good stuff there. Cam, hopping in the live chat. Good to see you here this evening for I don't know how many shows in a row is this for Cam. I wish we tracked that sort of thing. Because him and Darren are our most frequent flyers. Belly Ball's been hopping in a bunch. Forklift Jeremy is in there basically every show as well. What did I do here? Here we go. We're back. No worries.
Hey-o.
Whoa. We got our OGs in the chat. We love to see everybody always. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're subscriber only mode right now. So make sure you hit that button so you can chat with us. You can ask questions like Darren asking about.
Yeah, Janicki. No.
Janicki. Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
Out on Janicki. All right, good stuff. All right, here we go. Oh, how about that one and done invitational? Can we flash that link right back up on the screen there? It looks like we're about a third full. The old one and done invitational, the MC Holland 34 Classic, as I like to refer to it as. It's about a third full there. How many did we put in there tonight? 40 or 30?
Yeah, we got 40. Try and get.
Let's go. $5
come on, people.
40-person invitational there. Link in the live chat. And if you're watching later on, we appreciate you. We talked about if you're watching with your morning coffee on a Saturday or whatever, we appreciate you. It'll be in the description on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're doing that if you're watching on the replay. To get into the One and Done Invitational, you could also find that link at One and Done CBB on X. Any of the socials, just find us there at One and Done CBB. and get into the old one and done invitational. Let's do it. Cam is like the Washington State flag at game day. He is. You know, down here and around here, Texas State, the old Bobcats in San Marcos, they had somebody taking a flag everywhere for game day this year as well. I love those sort of traditions. I love that sort of a call back there, belly ball, good stuff there for sure. We love Cam. We love all of our OGs. They've been here forever. Everybody that hops into the live chat. Oh, we just got word. It's in Eric's telling us right there. 14,737,445th appearance in the live chat. Way to go, Cam. We appreciate you, my friend. All love, my guy. Let's keep it going. Where are we at here? Iowa State and Kansas State. But no more 140 totals. Can we? All right, we'll talk about it anyway. 141 implied points here for Iowa State, who are 5-point favorites according to KenPom's metrics on this one. And Kansas State's Little Manhattan here. I'm just looking at this total sours my mood. 73 implied points for Iowa State, who is like top 100 in tempo, so that they get up and down a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Kansas State 193rd in tempo, a little bit of a pace down, and also really good defensively. Top 40 are the Wildcats. So I don't know, man. What do you think? 73 points, ugly total. I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not that excited either. Josh Jefferson, 8,500. I think if you're playing smaller tournaments, cash game settings, like he's a pretty safe high spend up, 8,500. Like he hasn't really shown the huge ceiling now that everybody's back, but he's just been solid. Like he's been 32, 34 minutes. It's a good matchup. Should have that rebounding upside boosted there. His price is cheaper than it's been in months. So I come in here to get right around 4X and just kind of be a safe target. Gilbert, who looks like Cam likes, is 6,600. He definitely got back to form. 37 fantasy points in the overtime game against BYU. Still didn't even shoot it well, and he can contribute across the board. I mean, he's a 7,500, player here. So no one's really going to be playing guys in like the 6K range. So he's kind of interesting, which makes Curtis Jones also interesting. I think he's kind of a sick tourney play. Hasn't really been the same since coming off the illness or he missed a game. But remember, Jay was like 9K at one point because he was dropping like 45s and 50s with everyone there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, Momcilovic, that's your boy. He's playing 33, 35. When you project him out, like, yeah, he's going to be a pretty solid tournament player. Just for, like, I always knock projections. Always try to take a point or two away just on the road, man. You just see it too often in college basketball. I love betting home dogs. It just makes home dogs on the money line. What did we call it the other day? It was Florida at Georgia. It was like plus 12. I was like, just take Georgia straight up. Like you just see it so many times where top teams even come out flat on the road against unranked teams. So, Momcilovic is going to take 10 to 12 shots, a little bit of rebounding upside. So definitely don't mind that at his price tag, man. It's okay. It's all right, man. Like it's not anything that you're like, I'm like running to, start my lineup with or anything like that. So thoughts on this Kansas State side, man? I'm not very interested in any of these guys, honestly.
No. Hold on a second. We're not even attempting to do the Lipsy rain dance anymore. We're not even considering it. It's done.
It's done, dude.
He's had 34 fantasy points the last 2 times out. That doesn't bring you back on track with my guy?
No, sir. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've been shouting for that guy. I've been shouting for that guy for a while and just waiting for any sort of consistency.
Yeah, I'm good on that. The outlier against Arizona with the 8 assists and then
7,300. No thanks, man.
Yeah, 5 extra minutes in the overtime last game helps out a little bit. So yeah, I'm good.
No, not at 5,300. We could talk.
Hell yeah. Here's Cam. He wants to talk about Hassan. Let's talk about the guy that's up top real quick.
Let's start with Coleman Hawkins first. Of course, this is a tough matchup defensively, or I should say offensively, for Kansas State against Iowa State's defense, who's 7th in the country in efficiency on defense here. So let's do Coleman Hawkins first here. Played 35 minutes in that return from injury. I like this in a rock fight against Cincinnati. It is what it felt like there, right? Now gets a game with some more pace and a big-time haircut. 1K off the top right there. So tournament play, love it. You want to get in that big quali, that $60 king of the bracket that's going on? Put Coleman Hawkins in your lineup. 35-plus minutes, guaranteed, contributes in so many areas. I think Hawkins has to be one of the first names you click when you open up the app, Mike.
Yeah, man, that's a cheap price tag for him. I mean, 7,600. You know he's gonna play 35+, getting paced up here at home. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, man.
The team total sucks. 68 on the total.
The team total sucks. So he's gonna have to contribute across the board to get there. Not a lot of people. I don't think people are gonna click it, but to play like this type caliber player at this price at home and a pace up, like, yeah, interesting for large field and the queue. All right, we'll skip Dougie McBuckets because I'm not even that interested in him. We'll get to Cam's boy Housen, the old flamethrower here. 25, 28 minutes. This is way too cheap. I don't know why he's 3,700. That means that every three, and he takes a ton of threes. Every three that he hits is basically 1x. Will he do anything else while he's on the floor? You don't. Probably not. I mean,
just trip into a rebound or two, or maybe one steal. Come on, do something.
If you told me he was going to get 4, if he guaranteed me 4 Brandon Housen rebounds, I would play him as a value. Absolutely. Like, that helps right there. He's only got to hit a couple of threes to kind of get there and maybe get a steal. So, I don't know, Cam. There's just so many value plays on here that are in good spots, man. I don't know. Maybe in the mini max. I think somebody had asked earlier how many were playing in the mini max. I think that was Belly Ball. Yeah, I know you can play max 150. I don't really play the mini max, but I'll play 20 in it tomorrow just because it's one of the final slates. You know what I mean, for the regular season. So I'm not going to max it. I'd rather just play the, try to win the gusto there.
Yeah, understood. Thanks for dropping that stuff in there. All right, I want to get to something in the live chat here. Darren asked this on a previous show, and we didn't get to it. He asked about what happened to the Southwest in Texas State's name. So they didn't want to be a directional school anymore. The Southwest, Eastern, Central, they wanted to go away from that sort of regional sounding name. And Texas State sounds a lot more regal in the grand scheme of things. So logo change, name change, obviously in their quest to move up to D1, and they have now. That was all a branding thing. That's all. When it came down to it, that's all it was. So wanted to make sure we hit on that for sure. Iowa State is a boring team. Darren, what say you? Yeah, I mean, they're just a good basketball team, though. They play good basketball. It is what it is. So anything else before we move on to this snoozer of a game with South Carolina and Tennessee, Mike?
Nope. Let's roll.
All right. I guess we can get to that one.
56 implied.
Tennessee's the best defense in the country, according to Ken Palm's metrics. Both of these teams just play at a snail pace. Are you playing anybody on this side?
No.
Okay,
are you playing anybody in a 56 total? Unless the guys are 3K?
Moving on to Tennessee here, who's getting paced up, but everybody paces up Tennessee. I don't know, man. Even with this team, 72 here, like this could be just one of those where they hold South Carolina 256 and then just run away with it. And these guys aren't playing. I don't know, man. Can you get to Ziegler here at 9,100?
Not really. I don't want to get to him. I mean, I know there's a nice boost here because South Carolina is playing D and they give up a bunch of stocks and 15% opponent block rate, a 12% steal rate. So, but the price tag on Ziegler, I'll probably out Lanier. No, shot dependent. The one guy I would touch here, Jay, at least touch as in my finger clicking his name into the lineup, would be Milicic at 6K, man. Like dealing with the calf and then he had the illness. His minutes haven't been there, plus the whole miss matchup where they play smaller. Bama, he was in foul trouble. But you project out 30-minute Milicic at 6K. He's definitely interesting for tournaments. He's probably the one guy. They need him to bounce back to. They need him to be at his best going into, we're in March, but into the tournament. So he's the only one. But I'll tell you that, man. I think we just crossed this thing off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not messing with anything else.
I
That's
said CMB at 10. No, I'm good, dude. I'm not playing College Boys.
No, Eric said give him 0.02% owned CMB. That is the Eric Romoff type of play, isn't it?
That's hilarious.
That is 100% an Eric Romoff.
What a
type
hard
of play.
click and a 56 total for a 10K guy against Tennessee.
Goodness gracious. Moving on, please. Hey, speaking of moving on, you know who's moved on from being as sick as a dog is our guy Nate C. Hustle, who had like 127-degree fever or whatever
Seriously.
it was the other day, and finally was able to kick some of that. Shout out to Nate. Hope he's feeling better. For sure. At The Real Napier, at One and Done CBB is where you can find us all over social media, X, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. Just follow them all. Just push all the buttons. Just do your thing. Do your part in the One and Done universe. Be a good breadhead. We love us some breadheads around these parts. And we love you for hanging out with us and pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Have we got any? I haven't checked. Have we got any more since I begged and pleaded the last time? Nobody.
They're saying they want you to beg harder.
Hit the button.
There you go.
Hit the button. You guys can do it. I know you can. We haven't exactly been covering the most exciting games, but don't worry, it's coming. My broskies and broskets, we'll get there. Maybe you can hit the button for us when we get to Alabama and Auburn. But first, we got to get to Stanford and Louisville here. 147 implied points. Stanford with 67 of those. Baker's dozen points as a dog here going into Louisville. Pace up for Stanford. Louisville's 83rd in tempo, so you like that. Darren talking about Raynaud, and yeah, I want to talk about him too. 9K flat. We don't talk about Raynaud a lot.
No.
Nobody really talks about him a lot.
Yeah.
It's the combo, the dreaded bad team / West Coast combo.
He's 20 and 10 on the year.
Nobody talks about this guy, right? Just a sort of an afterthought. And of course, Darren brings up the double-double here. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. 40-point fantasy points upside in this pace up, but this one could get out of hand, Mike.
Yeah. You're not playing Broom. Like, save the 1800, right, and play Raynaud.
Does the blowout worry you?
Yeah, a little bit. But he's still he's still been out there, and even if he plays 28 minutes, he could still get 40 fantasy points. So yeah, I think he's an awesome play. It's hard to get to him. It's not going to be hard to get to him and Broom because you have all these 3K and 4K options for sure. But I think he's a sick pivot off of Broom. Blake's, Agarwal, and Sellers. All interesting. Blake's, he's kind of like your cash guy. Doesn't shoot the ball a ton. So not really that big upside, right? But plays, typically plays 30+ minutes. Agarwal's kind of like a boom bust GPP option. He doesn't shoot the ball as much either, but his peripherals are pretty solid, even though he doesn't really have much stock production. But he's a guy that could, at this price tag, can get you 20 to 25. I think I'm with Cam with Sellers at 4,400. He's too cheap. He's been over 20 fantasy points in 4 straight before the poor Notre Dame game, on the road, of course. Typically living in the high 30s for minutes. So yeah, I don't mind going right back here. He's a guy that's live to take 10+ shots. He has decent peripherals. At 4,400, he throw him in the basket, Jay. Throw him in the basket of guys that can go off for 5x at these low price tags.
Put him in. Stir him into the gumbo, into the stew, whatever it is you want to have it. Mix them in there. Boom bust. You love some boom bust stuff, especially when we're chasing commas, man. If you ain't chasing the boom, you're guaranteed to bust. Okay, let's just go that way. A wise man once told me that, I think. Or I read it on the side of a bathroom stall or something. Like that. I don't remember. It was one of those. Great team total on the other side, Mike, with Louisville, but everybody's priced up, man. I don't know, just too expensive for me. Chucky Hepburn, 10.2.
2025 CBB DFS in a nutshell. I mean, it's gross, but it's a big team.
How can you?
Especially when Broom's $600 more. That's insane. I'll pass, man. Let's get to the
Well, the upside's there. That's the thing, is that he can get there.
He could, yeah, but
in this total,
no one's gonna click him because of that price, I don't think either.
Right.
A little interesting, but we're about to talk about a really good game to end this.
We're about to talk about the game that's going to make everybody click those buttons, all the subscribe, because we're talking Alabama at Auburn. Push the button right now. We're getting there. Boom, 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 boom. Subscribe and get in the live chat and talk to us about it. If you're watching later on the replay, make sure you get in the comment section and let us know who you think will win this matchup and who you think the best play will be, Alabama and Auburn. Let us know right here if you're chatting live with us. Who do you think will be your favorite play out of this game with a whopping 176 point implied total? And one more time, just one more time tonight. Please, sir, may I have some more? All about this. First game went 94 to 85, excuse me. Not a huge difference there, but I like looking at those sort of a total on a board anytime. Broom, 19, 14, and 6. That's it. Oh, no big deal. Chad Baker-Mazara, 15, 5, and 3. First time around. For Bama, Mark Sears finished with 18, 2, and 3 as well, but only shot 4 of 17, man. So, again, like 85 points from Alabama, and Mark Sears went 4 for 17. This could get crazy, man. This one might go back and forth all night long, or all morning, all day long, I guess. Afternoon, right? Mm-hmm. This is the hammer, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's at 1:30 Central.
All right, good deal. And I mentioned on the show last night, which Grant Nelson is Alabama going to get?
Yeah.
If you get the Grant Nelson that went for 12 and 12 against Auburn the last time, you're going to be in a good spot, right?
Especially at 5,900. Look at that.
Especially at 5,900.
Oh. Boom, again, bust.
Just when I'm off of Grant Nelson, just when I think I can't possibly go back and put myself through it, this is the type of game in a tournament, Mike.
100%.
Where you got to consider him for sure. And I think it's an easier play for me than Mark Sears at 10.4. Listen, it's huge price tag. He smashed Florida in that final game at home, right? 46 fantasy points. I get it. On the road here, though, now, and I don't think too many people are going to click that name either. It's going to be more of a contrarian option, spend up, max price Sears, max price Mark, we're calling him. It's going to be a lot tougher for me to click that one when I can just drop down and just hope one more time for Grant Nelson to do this thing. Who else on this side? What about Sears backcourt mates?
Yeah, Phylon and Holloway. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm with you on Nelson, though. I wouldn't be playing him in large field. Phylon at 7K. Because Sears is $3,400 more, he's an interesting pivot, right? I think Nelson at 5,900 though for large field, along with Aiden Holloway. So Holloway, if you remember, we've been waiting on this game. He played him, obviously, started his career at Alabama last year. And we circled this one in the offseason because it's weird seeing someone transfer from Auburn to Alabama. So, now he's going back to the jungle. Could be a disaster. Could be awesome. But at 4,700, he takes a ton of shots. He's got 20-plus fantasy point upside. He's shown nearly 30 fantasy point upside. So, I think he's interesting. Him and Nelson, man, are so interesting. Of course, Jay, the Auburn side is always the same. Play Janai Broom, try and figure out the other guy. Like, it's the same thing. You don't ever know, man. Like,
what are the odds? What are the odds we get the repeat dud on a main slate out of Broom?
Come on.
This is a smash spot, my brother.
This is come on.
Smash.
At home,
10.8,
yeah.
I get it. 10.8. I understand. There's plenty of value. You can get to Janai Broom.
Easily.
You should get to Janai Broom.
He should be 80% on this slate.
How many did Condon have the other night? How many points did he have the other night?
He went for nearly 50 against Bama on the road.
Broom could go for 60.
Yeah,
and he
100%.
Like
Last game at home.
If you decide you don't want to spend up for Janai Broome, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be super. There's some guys on the lower end that are gonna be super hard for me to just ignore. There's just guys that I'm gonna log in and click on the lower end, and on the higher end, it just feels like Janai Broome is gonna be that guy.
It's hard not to click Broome, Raynaud, and Amari Williams, and then you just play all the value around those guys.
Figure it out.
But the problem is, I think it's going to be popular. So I don't think you get different from Broome. You just play him. Last home game against Alabama, who you already smashed these guys. Like
sometimes you don't have to be the smartest person in your tournament, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be click the button. It would be wild. It'd be nuts. I think he's got a point to prove. People like me were talking about him, about how he's blown his shot to Player of the Year award.
Yeah, he's freaking nicked injured, getting injured and stuff, man.
Again, I say it in that sense of like, it's Cooper Flag, okay?
He's still my player. He's still my Player of the Year.
He's is in your heart, even right here.
He played the number one schedule.
Listen, it's going to go to Cooper Flag, and I think we can agree on that. That's what it's going to end up going to. But Broome has been in it, and I think he's got a statement to make here in this last game against Alabama. I talked about Chad Baker-Mazara earlier, 7K there, some other options in the backcourt. After Broome, there are plenty of options here in an 83-team
it's all these cards, right? CBM, 7,000, Miles Kelly, 6,800, Todd Pettiford's 5,200, but you have Denver Jones back. Pettiford went off when Jones got injured in the first half. If I'd known that, I would just play, 100% Todd Pettiford. So don't expect him to play that many minutes in this one. But spin the wheel, Jay. I never know. I always like Chad Baker-Mazara. Miles Kelly went nuts, shot 30 points a couple of games ago. So real life points. It's just tough to know which one's going to go with him. And I don't know that we need to get that cute because you can play everything on this slate. So, you know what I mean?
Peanut Butter Posse, what's the deal hopping in at the very end of the show?
Yeah, he's right.
What are you doing?
He's been banged up.
What are you doing?
Like Rothstein's always tweeting, oh, he's out and he's not going to return. Oh, he returned.
He's right. And that's why we love Peanut Butter Posse. Our resident Kentucky fan, he knows his ball. He knows Broome's been banged up. I just think certain players step up in certain situations.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time players make big time plays in big time games, sort of a gimmick, right? And I think that this is the Janai Broome experience that we're about to. I will show you the world. Me and Janai Broome. I'll do it. I don't care. I'll sing the whole damn song. I'll remix it live. We'll do it live. Yeah, he did. You're right, Belly Ball. He locked it up. But hey, listen. In the grand scheme of things, we know Flag's going to win that award. But you could, if you made your case for Janai Broome, I wouldn't laugh at you. I wouldn't laugh at you. Just graduated from the third shift to the second, Peanut Butter Posse. Let's go, my guy. I'm guessing that's a good thing. I hope so. I hope you're enjoying that. I hope you were aiming for that.
Right.
I hope I'm moving you around without you wanting to. But it's always good to hear from you, man, for sure. Thanks for hopping into the live chat. Peanut Butter Posse is one of our – he's up there with Cam, too, especially on the Peanut Butter Posse might be closer to like 12 million interactions in the live chat. Cam is like 14 million we established earlier. For sure. Yeah, I got you, man. Easier shift, but does he get the zombie mode, the overnight stuff? Man, that's rough. That's rough for anybody. So cheers to you, Peanut Butter Posse, for making that change. And cheers to all of you for hanging out with us right here on One and Done. Like and subscribe buttons, notification bells as we get to everybody's favorite of the show, the Core 4 and more. Yeah, we're going to get to it here. I mentioned earlier that I do like to dabble a little bit in the cash game. Some of the lower stakes stuff, double ups, safer plays. I do that a lot. And I tend to get the cash game core fours on the slate. We'll give you the cash game and also like maybe safe tournament feel to it. And then Mike's going to hop in later on with his favorite plays that are a little bit higher risk, higher reward that you might want to get into if you're chasing those commas. So cash game core 4 here. Let's start with Josh Jefferson at 8,500 for Iowa State. Safe floor. Nice matchup against KSU inside. Silas DeMary for Georgia, 8,100 in the backcourt there. Floor, 30 fantasy points. Lock it in. Vandy pacing them up. I like DeMary a lot at 8,100. Hoggard, 5K flat. No need to worry. My accountant handles that. 30 minutes and way too cheap here. 5,100, excuse me, for Hoggard. And then Isaiah Sellers for Stanford, 4,400. Solid floor there. Those 4 players are going to leave you about 6K per player remaining. You can still get to any of those big spend ups that you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you can thank me later. Count your cash, count your salary, count your all the things. I like those 4 right there. And again, these core 4s, ladies and gents, it doesn't mean you have to start your lineup with this exact core 4. I like to sometimes. We've seen the core 4 go 5.5, 6x. But these are players that you want to sort of, especially mass multi-entry from Mike's standpoint, from the tournament ones. These are guys that you want to sort of base your lineup around. This is the guys for the cash game. Mike, how about for that tournament upside, that big upside? Yeah, Darren always brings out, he always, throws the wet blanket on mine as Mike brings out the fire. So big upside here. We're looking for the boom bust players that we like the most here for a tournament. Who you got, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, obviously teased it. Janai Broom, right? 10-8. Yeah, this is big total last home game. Amari Williams, just another smash spot here against Missouri. I don't know how they're going to stop him. Only foul trouble could. Renaud's kind of in that same boat at 9K, but for kind of salary savings, I'd look at Asa Newell at 7,700. We just talked about Brazil putting up nearly 50 fantasy points. Against Vanderbilt. I don't see how Newell doesn't have a huge game. And then I'll toss one in. We won't talk about all these, so many cheapies, in the 3K range. So we'll give you Riley Kugel just for that 30 fantasy point upside. Super volatile, though. This one leaves you 4.8. You could theoretically go play two 3K guys and go up and get Raynaud if you wanted to. So you can do whatever you want, man. It's crazy. That 6 to 7K range is I mean, those guys are not going to be owned at all.
Nobody. So get different, right? If you want to be super different, right? Play some mid-range guys, but it's stars and scrubs. You're going to be able to pick the expensive guys that you want. You're going to be able to find the value.
You said you wanted
Darren
to
saying that I can't work in Momcilovic. I probably will.
And he's a good cash play too. Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad cash play.
Everybody's a good play on this slate.
Yeah, I was going to say there are very few guys that you can't play, and apparently, if your last name is Lipsy, that's one of them. Good stuff there. Yeah, Belly Ball, we're getting this bread for sure. Loving all of this here. Loving the live chat on fire. Loving the subs. Loving the likes. We love everybody that hangs out with us here on One and Done. We appreciate all of you for doing that. Mike, close us out here before we get out of this show for a Saturday last regular season main slate that we're going to cover.
Yep.
Get us out of here. What do you think?
This was our 35th DFS show of the regular season, so sad to see the regular season come to an end, but lots more content coming. DFS too. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I'll be on Sirius XM radio over the next 2 days. If you guys and gals out there want to catch me tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central, I'll be on with Dr. Roto on channel 87. Talking bets and just all things college basketball. And then on Sunday night at 10:30 Central Time, I'll be on with Joe Serralo, who is kind enough to invite me, channel 158 on Sunday night. So guys, wake up early. I'll be on channel 87 on Sirius XM radio, and then Sunday at 10:30 Central on channel 158.
This guy's all over the
yes,
radio.
I am.
This guy's all over the radio. Look at him. El Capitan, that's why we call him that. The captain of the one and done ship, Mr. Mike Holland, at MC Holland 34 on Twitter. And saying that made me remember that if you want to get in the one and done invitational, aka the MC Holland 34 Classic, make sure you hit that link in the live chat right there. It's on your screen. If you're watching the replay, it'll be in the description on the show on the One and Done College Basketball YouTube channel. So hit the like and subscribe buttons, notification bells. Have it right up there at the top icon of your YouTube app, because we don't just talk basketball during the season. We go year. Mike's already started the big board for the transfer portal. I saw six guys already on that board this morning, and there might be more on there by the time we even hang up and get out of here. So good stuff there, Mike. Keep up the good work. We appreciate our guy at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets, Eric the Blue, pushing buttons tonight, getting you these slick graphics, keeping us entertained in the live chat as well. Rest up, Nape. We hope you're feeling better. At the Real Napier, our guy Nape C. Hustle, CC Hustle, the Hall of Famer, the one and done Hall of Famer for sure. Peanut Butter Posse. It wouldn't be a Peanut Butter Posse in the chat without talking about certain parts of Mark Pope's body, but we don't hate him for it. We actually love him for it. San Marcos is in sort of Southwest Texas, Darren. If you asked that earlier, I know you did. I mean, kind of like this sort of considered central-ish, South Central Texas-ish. But that sounds even worse than a Southwest directional Texas state, whatever it was. You know what I mean? Remember the Alamo. Remember one and done CBB. And remember to take care of yourself and everybody else around you. Join us right back. When are we going to be back? Sunday, Mike?
Who knows, man?
Oh, no. Set the notification bell so you know when we're going live. All right.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Good stuff there, everybody. Take care of yourself. We appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. We'll be back on Sunday, most likely. Until then, my name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. Peace out.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.